in Somalia have welcomed the decline in the number of people in need. Recent estimates from the United Nations indicate improved humanitarian conditions across most parts of the country. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization latest report says that sustained humanitarian assistance and improved food security has led to this improvement.
In 2017, the number of people who needed urgent humanitarian assistance reached as high as 3.2 million. That number has now come down to 2.7 million. So 2.7 million for a country of 12.3 million is still a very high number. And these are people who really need urgent humanitarian assistance to make it because they are not able to make it on their own.
The recent drought was the worst to hit Somalia in 6 decades. In 2011, 250,000 lives were lost in Somalia's worst famine in decades. However, 5.4 million people remain in need compared to 6.2 million people less than a year ago. Out of these, close to 50,000 children remain severely malnourished. This latest report paints a positive image of the country's humanitarian situation, a country that was recently on the brink of famine. In particular, it highlights the quick response plan on the part of the government as well as the international community that helped avert this country from falling into crisis. In mid-2017, China provided cash contributions to the UN's World Food Programme and the UN Children's Fund that was used to purchase nutrition supplements for thousands of vulnerable children in South and Central Somalia. The UN, however, warns that pastoralists and farmers will continue to rely on emergency support in the coming months due to poor harvest caused by below-average rainfall.
Somalia needs a policy, a strategy to move away from humanitarian, urgent humanitarian intervention to long-term development. Because of sustained humanitarian intervention in 2017, we now see fewer malnourished children compared to 6 months to a year ago. The humanitarian assistance prevented people from being more displaced or from liquidating their animals and from taking extreme measures.
Earlier this month, the UN appealed for $1.6 billion for Somalia to mitigate future crises. Since 2016, close to 100,000 families have returned back to the country from Kenya and Yemen, as conflict and an increase in US drone strikes in south-central Somalia continues to cause renewed displacement in the country, as well as creating renewed concerns for both the government and its humanitarian partners. Abdulaziz, Billow, CGTN, Mogadishu, Somalia.